So you guys were on the ground some yesterday too. What happened yesterday?
All right, so yesterday we went to the federal building in Wilshire. So it like Century City area, Westwood area, near that area. And they were peacefully protesting. I mean, we just took pictures. There was a couple of people who had rubber bullets injuries, and they were showing that. But they were just peacefully protesting. The majority of the people protesting were really young, like teenagers to people in their maybe like early 30s. Like it wasn't, they weren't.
Doesn't that make you feel amazing though?
Yeah, I mean, that's
I mean,
hope.
I have so much. I mean, whenever I feel really down about the state of affairs, which is, I mean, all the time. I mean, it's a very brutal time right now. We are living under martial law and there's a pandemic. That's like a double whammy of holy shitsville. But,
but we got Netflix and takeout, Ron. So, it's not that bad.
That's true. And outdoor seating is now back. So
yeah, it's back. Brunch is back. As long as brunch is back.
Yeah.
But when I see Gen Z, I really feel, I'm like, yes, yeah, you guys. Oh, I can't wait till y'all are in charge. I really can't. In fact, millennials, we'll just hand it off. You guys go ahead. We'll assist in other ways. You guys just take over. I mean, they are, socialism is not a dirty word to them. They are tired of bullshit. They don't genuflect at the altar of capitalism because they've only known recession and nothing else. And they're aware of the short end of the stick they were handed, and they give zero fucks. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Ron, can I point something out that's really important too about yesterday's protest that we saw? And this is something really important because, with Fiorella and I being on the ground, even what happened with the CHP cruiser, the organizers and the people within this protest, the peaceful protesters, they're never the ones who do any of the looting or start any of the fighting whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? We have a situation where we saw some people at a Walgreens and actually stopping the looters and pulling them down and putting their hands up saying, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't ruin your lives. You know what I'm saying? Don't have a criminal record. We saw in a Target downtown, actually organizers and people within the Black Lives Matter movement throw people out of the way and not let them go into a Target to loot, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? It's never them, any of the organizers or the protesters doing the looting. It's just like, it's downtown LA. You'll have random homeless people or people just joining into the protest just to start things that will splinter off. It's never, ever the organizers or the peaceful protesters within that group. And I think that's something important to point out, because when you see it on mainstream media, they're like, look at Black Lives Matter. They're starting riots. They're looting and whatnot. Nope. It's never them. It's always these other factions of people just joining in. Sometimes it's homeless people desperate for money and shampoo and Target. You know what I'm saying? Got to avoid a lady trying to stab them when they come out. But yeah, that's what it is. And that's what it's all about. And that's something we need to point out. In fact, I think I see a lot of protesters stopping people from looting. And it just makes me happy all over to see that happen, because now we're really taking matters into our own hand, Gen Z.
Well, isn't it very interesting that, when there's a group of people in a public space protesting where, you don't know every single human being's intention. That's an impossible thing to measure. But, whenever something happens, the protest as a whole gets generalized. But no matter how systemic this is with law enforcement, we're always told it's a few bad apples. Isn't the inconsistency there beyond baffling?
Well, that's the point. Like, it's like people are protesting police brutality and they're getting back police brutality, and yet they're still being blamed on it in a general way, while we're even dismissing the fact, let's go even further, that even though, yes, some people are looting and that's wrong, especially when it comes to small businesses, we've seen it's mainly agitators, some of them white supremacists, some of them we don't know who they are. But, people, the majority of, like Pasta said, the Black Lives Matter people, they do not go after small businesses because that's community owned and they respect that. But let's go even further. The focus on the rioting, on the looting, on the damage of property, that defeats the purpose. That is not the point. You can point out that it's wrong, but when you make it your main story as mainstream media, you're completely ignoring the point of the protest, which is police brutality. They're not talking about enough of the people getting hit on the head with batons, getting shot, their window shot, sprayed, mace, rubber bullets, innocent people that did absolutely nothing wrong. They're saying, oh, people got, hit because they didn't respect the curfew order, or they didn't do what the cops said. That is not true. I have seen people do every single thing right, and they're still getting brutally just treated by the law enforcement, and it's completely fine, and it's being ignored by the mainstream media because we're just focused on broken windows. Sure, okay, that sucks, but guess what? The whole reason some of these people are fighting is because we pay so much more attention to everything else but their lives, and that's the whole point of this thing. And it's just so frustrating to see the mainstream media do that, and that's why we do what we do, because we can't let that happen again.
Now, how are you going to ignore with press badges? They're sitting there going, we're press, and they still arrest them. It's on camera. I mean, how are you going to, I mean, it's
well,
fascism.
Here's to respond to, it is fascism. I mean, this is authoritarian fascism right now. And to respond to what you were saying about the corporate media, here's the thing. Just like Pasta, you pointed out the police and Michael Moore, police chief, not the film guy, the police guy that said some really dumb shit, that Michael Moore. But the media is also following a formula. This is the formula they follow whenever there's a protest, whenever there's a movement. They've been following it since at least the 60s with the SDS, with the Black Panthers. They followed it during Occupy. They followed it during DAPL. They followed it during Black Lives Matter, the first time to present. It's the formula they always follow. First, we trivialize it. Yeah, trivialize it, marginalize it, antagonize it. That's what they do. Why? Because they love the status quo. That's who they serve. They serve the powerful. And nothing is a bigger threat to the status quo than a real organized social movement. So they got to stamp those out as quickly as they can. And it's effective. It's still effective. They have successfully reported straight up. Just they've made up a conspiracy. They want people to believe that all of the violence can be traced back to some random caravan of anarchists who are going from city to city. And they're saying, time for us to anarchy. And that's what they're telling people, that it's this organized group. It's absolutely ridiculous. Does that mean that there aren't some bad actors in an entire huge collective of people? Well, of course you can't say that. But this whole idea that the cops aren't inciting any of these violence, and it's these unnamed caravan of anarchists, it's absolutely insane. It's a moving conspiracy. It's as insane as blaming Russia for sowing this discontent, which the New York Times has already done.
Yeah. I mean, they are. I mean, it's no surprise that they were going to do that. I mean, they blame Russia for everything. If there's an earthquake tomorrow, Ron, you know that Russia did it. I mean, it's ridiculous. And it's just funny, too, because Russia, isn't putting their protesters or the people under martial law. Russia didn't hack their own elections. I wish we could get invaded by Maduro or somebody to say, hey, we gotta take control of the United States, because guess what? They can't run their elections. They are the people are hurting. We need to spread democracy there, because they have that. I mean, it's ironic.
I want to have that conversation with Justin Trudeau, actually. I just want to call him up and be like, look, buddy, we have a lot of disagreements, but how do you feel about having sunnier cities in Canada? What do you think? What if you guys just kind of took this over? I really like hockey and healthcare. You guys got it, and a lot of it. What do you think? Listen, Trudeau, seriously, there's cities in the United States where wearing blackface might guarantee you re-election. What do you say, buddy? Come on, think about it. That's what I think we got to do.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and